Good morning. In just a moment, President and Mrs. Bush will officially reopen this facility, the Brady Briefing Room. And on behalf of the White House Press Corps, I am able to offer something that those of us in the media rarely give this president or any president, a thank you. Let me extend that also. Let me extend that to Mrs. Bush for her efforts in this project, and to Tony Snow, White House Press Secretary. Now, whoever said nostalgia isn't what it used to be must have been thinking of the old briefing room. All of us here knew what the conditions were like, the working conditions day in and day out, and unless you saw it in person, you had no idea just how run down this place had become. So, 3 years ago, the Correspondents Association and this White House embarked on a total 21st century renovation project with this promise. If we moved out during the renovation work, we would move back in. And so today, that promise is realized. Now, a little history about this room. You like that? We still stand above a swimming pool used by 6 presidents, from Roosevelt to Nixon, each of whom undoubtedly was tempted, from time to time, to drown some of our predecessors in the White House Press Corps. Now, Mr. President, you may be feeling that way right about now as well. But back in 1969, President Nixon had thought about moving us across the street.
Change tactics.
Like I was saying, back in 1969, President Nixon planned to move us across the street to the old Executive Office building, and that might have happened were it not for the perseverance of Merriman Smith and Helen Thomas of UPI. They were among the reporters who fought to keep us here in this location. They argued that in order for us to do our job, we needed to be here, just a few feet from the Oval Office and even closer to the White House Press Secretary. And nowhere else is there a working press office this close to the head of state. Now, when he served in the White House, Thomas Jefferson often had a few choice words about the press. He once remarked that the most accurate part of newspapers could be found in the advertisements. Yet, 3 years before his death, he remarked to a fellow Virginian, John Tyler, he said, "The only security we have is in a free press." Now, our third president understood that our Constitution works and our democracy is preserved only when a free and open press hold elected officials accountable. And so this brand new facility, Mr. President, allows us to do just that. A year after moving out, we are moving back, and we're ready with our questions. And so please welcome our distinguished neighbors from down the hall, Press Secretary Tony Snow, Mrs. Bush, Mr. President. Mr. President, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks. I like a good short introduction. Yeah. After all, it is your room. Yeah. Welcome back to the West Wing. We missed you. Sort of. I can already tell this place has improved. The last time I was in here to hold a press conference, I broke out into a sweat, not because of your questions, but because of the climate. The air conditioner seems to work well. I hope the facility suits your needs. I really do. The relationship between the president and the press is a unique relationship, and it's a necessary relationship. I enjoy it. I hope you do. You know, as I say, sometimes you don't like the decisions I make, and sometimes I don't like the way you write about the decisions. But nevertheless, it's a really important part of our process. And the fact that you were working in substandard conditions just wasn't right. It really wasn't. And so my White House worked with Steve and Ann, worked with Mark Smith to get it right. And I think it's going to benefit future presidents and future White House press corps to be working in modern conditions where a fellow like me would feel comfortable coming in here and answering a few questions without losing 20 pounds. Like, it's really hot in here. Matter of fact, I can't imagine how Snow could handle it on a regular basis. But now it's modern, and it's going to enable you to do a better job. And I'm glad that's the case. I want to thank Peter Doherty. Where is he? Yeah, Peter, thanks for working hard here. You get a lot of credit for making sure this thing works. And one of these days, Laura and I are looking forward to coming and actually see what it's like. working there. I've never toured, so I've never even been able to get beyond the podium, if you know what I mean. Matter of fact, I've always felt comfortable behind the podium in front of you, kind of as a shield. But I would like a tour. Yeah, but well, it's not exactly bulletproof. Some of your bullets are able to, verbal bullets are able to penetrate. But you've been around a long time, so you know what it's like to query presidents. You've been, you're kind of an older fella, and right, Bill? Yeah. Bradley, so thanks for the birthday greeting, too. I appreciate that thoughtful gesture. But anyway, we're glad to join you for this ribbon cutting. And we thank you very much for working with Hagan and the bunch to make sure this deal works. And it's going to. And it's going to make your life better, and frankly, it's going to make the lives of future presidents better as well. And so this is it's a good contribution that you all have left behind, and we're glad to have been a part of it. And so, yeah, I do think you're going to ask me a question. Yeah, well, maybe some other time. Okay.
How much do you think you can open with the press?
See what I'm saying?
You can't come to the press service. That's a modern press service.
Wait, let's do this. Let me cut the ribbon, Are you going to cut it with me, Steve?
I'm going to help
you.
Good.
And then why don't you all yell simultaneously? Like really loudly. And that way you might get noticed. No, I will. I'll like listen, internalize, play like I'm going to answer the question, and then smile at you and just say, God, thanks. Thanks for such a solid, sound question. Okay, here we go. Ready? I'm gonna cut the ribbon, and then, like, would you? And then you yell. I cogitate, and then smile and wave. Ready? You gonna come, Laura?
Here, Tony.
I'm told to hold this tight. Okay, here we go. Brilliant question. Thank you all. See you soon.
We look forward to seeing you come and
I will see you soon. Thank you.
Y'all come back. See you guys at 9:30. All right. Okay, good.
This wouldn't have happened without the leadership of a couple of presidents of the White House Correspondents Association who devoted incredible time and effort. Big thanks to Ron Hutchison, who was president at the creation of this whole idea. And if Mark Smith and Steve Scully would come up here, we have spent an untold number of hours going through every detail of planning and every aspect. I think we've lost Steve. But Mark, on behalf of the White House Correspondents, a hammer actually used in the construction. Mark did most of the planning, and Steve did much of the execution. And thanks to both of them.
Get Scully in here.
Whose idea was the column?
A hammer actually used in the.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Pound away questions. This guy did a lot of work. Thank you.